the thing I want to happen to the 49ers that they would hate if it happened is to be on Hard Knocks. And they can be forced to be on Hard Knocks, which is the only way they'll ever do it, because Kyle Shanahan is on record as hating it. John Lynch is on record as not wanting to be a part of it. But the league can say, you're doing it. And I got to tell you, look, I produced sports talk shows for ESPN Radio, ESPN TV, NBC Sports Network, NBC Sports Radio. I feel like I have a pulse on what the national NFL audience would like. There are very few teams that to me would be as compelling as the 49ers Hard Knocks in 2025. You've got Kyle Shanahan, so kind of sort of on the hot seat, trying to rebuild this juggernaut. You've got Robert Saleh back in the building now. We know they famously butt heads. What do they do when they're together? Brandon Aiyuk gets crapped on all offseason by everybody from this organization. He's coming back. Oh, by the way, also trying to recover off a devastating knee injury. Christian McCaffrey's trying to recover. Trent Williams trying to cover. Oh, by the way, there's 11 rookies that are going to be walking through the door, including arguably the 11th pick in the draft. I'm telling you, the Niners
Ricky Pearsall with the full off season. You can do an entire segment on his recovery.
Yeah, not being shot in the chest. Imagine that. Like, the Niners on Hard Knocks would be must watch, not even just for 49ers fans.
Yeah, Kenny nails it. I've seen one episode. I was very disappointed with the Gruden Mayock AB season. I thought that was going to be one of the, all-time great pieces of reality television. It was horrible. Now, if I'm thinking from a strictly television perspective, I really want to see the Niners on Hard Knocks. I want to see the behind the scenes as a fan. I want to see the behind the scenes of these characters, all of that. But just as a fan, I hate the idea of it. Hard Knocks is like the ultimate bad juju for a team. I think it's too much access. Nothing good ever comes from that much access. Now, I think the Niners would be one of the worst teams on Hard Knocks because I think they would go out of their way to try and be boring on Hard Knocks, which is a good thing, bad for TV, but it's also a good thing. I still would like to see it just from a TV standpoint. I hope it doesn't happen, though.
Oh, I hope it does. Like Brisbee Life says, maybe we can get the Madden cover curse again to go with it. Maybe the two will cancel each other out.
Yeah, I love those curses.
I think it would be so fascinating. I want to see how Kyle interacts with the team. Valerie says, Rob sold me on Hard Knocks. Thank you, Valerie. See, Kyle
and Saleh interacting
with each other. Exactly. Because Kyle famously doesn't like any of that sort of motivational stuff. And Saleh does, like his all gas, no brakes, right? That's his mantra. Do right longer. I think that came from Robert Saleh too, as a matter of fact.
I also would love to see like Saleh's authentic delivery of this positivity. Because I feel like to us, obviously, it's great, but it is a little cringe cliche, as you said, all gas, no brakes, all of that. But clearly he has like a really good, consistent demeanor that actually resonates with players beyond just this generic positivity that a Russell Wilson, for example, shows. And so I would love to see the overall balance of Robert Saleh's demeanor because I feel like we just get one part of him that he presents to the media. Same with Kyle.
Saleh walks into that room immediately having the respect of the leaders, of Fred, of Bosa. He's got those guys, like, they love him. So, like, he's not starting from scratch, like the leaders, the people that are going to set the tone for him are already in his corner. So that is a huge, huge plus. I like this comment from Ethan Parrish, who says, if Hard Knocks gave even a little insight into how the Niners negotiate, the national media would immediately flip on them. If Brock doesn't have a contract, Vish, oh my God.
With Mac Jones there?
Right. That's another thing. Did you watch the Hard Knocks with the Jets when they were negotiating with Revis? It's my all-time favorite Hard Knocks moment when they're trying to talk with Revis and all of a sudden
Antonio Cromartie's trying to remember how many kids he has.
Well, that was the same year. Yeah, I think. But no, they're negotiating with Revis and Revis has 3 years left on his deal. And Rex he can't take it anymore. And finally he's like, you know what? I got a game to coach. You got 3 years left on a contract. We're going to win it without you. Watch what the bleep happens. And he walks out of the room. And Mike Tannenbaum is there, the GM, and he just stops. And no one says anything for like 5 seconds. And then he just says, all right, we'll talk to you. And he hangs up the phone and he looks around at everybody in the room and he just goes, well, what does the negotiation handbook say to do now, fellas? Like, that is an incredible moment. I've talked to him about it because I told him how much I loved it.
What
We
did he
could
say?
have He was like, I didn't know what else to say. Like, what else can you do at that point? That's literally just Rex being Rex. And they got a deal done after that, too. I think it would be fascinating if what if we got to see Parag talking with Kyle Strong, Brock Purdy's agent? You can't tell me this wouldn't be the best show on television.
Yeah. I think the Niners would dread that. I think, like, if there's many things they could dread, it would be that.
Oh, they would hate it, but that's another reason why it'll be good. Mike UA, YouTube channel member, says Jed screaming at John and Kyle. Bank of Jed is closed, boys.
I'd love to see the personality of so many of the stars too. Like, what's their demeanor on a day to day? Like, how do they carry themselves? Like, I feel like with the Fred Warners, the Nick Bosa's, a couple of them, we have a good idea. But there's a few guys on this team that are like totally like, what do they do on a day to day? How do they carry themselves? And I'd love to see it.
Dude, you wouldn't love to see Diamondor Lenore? I bet that guy is
Oh,
hilarious.
dude, he's probably got so many great one-liners.
Yes, it would be great.
Imagine him and Brandon Ayuk competing and talking and going at it in a practice.
Seeing Fred talk crap in practice the way he, does, especially to Aiyuk. Like, he kind of tormented Brandon Ayuk. Now, he probably wouldn't do it as much this year because of the injury rehab stuff, but it would still be interesting to see. Benali says, we are significantly overestimating how much the media likes Purdy. If he doesn't have a deal and they're on Hard Knocks, the media narrative would be more about Brock than it would be about the Niners. I don't know, because I feel like Brock would give off that aw shucks vibe, and the 49ers would look like cheap jerks. And I feel like Brock would be getting the fan support. So I don't know if I agree with Benali.
Yeah, if he doesn't have the contract and he's still coming to practice, it would be very easy to paint him as a sympathetic figure.
Yes.
That quarterback who's still, like, you can already hear it with the narrator voiceover. That quarterback who still doesn't have a contract comes hard to work every day at 5:30 a.m. And there's a picture, there's Brock in his truck. Brock Purdy light on him. Hey, going to practice.
His free truck that he got from Toyota with his free bag of seed that he got from his seed sponsorship in the back. That is exactly right. He's been the most underpaid quarterback for his entire career, but that won't stop Brock Purdy from showing up to work. Literally with a lunchbox, right? Thermos of coffee, driving in at 5:00. You watch how fast that narrative would flip. Yep.
It'll be so easy too because of the way he'll come across in the show. Like, I don't expect Brock Purdy to be anybody but kind, respectful, hardworking, competitive. Like, I expect this show, whether there's a good perception of Brock Purdy publicly or not, I don't think there's any way you can watch him up close in this show and people won't come away liking him. Brock is likable.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I don't like Brock the person. I don't know how you come away not liking him. And also, does he have meetings with Shanahan? Do they talk about the game plan, about the offense? Like, what is that like? How much input does Brock have on things? Because I think people think that sort of Kyle rules with an iron fist.
Yep.
Although when Brock,
how do they talk to each other?
When Brock has been asked about it, he has said that Kyle does value his input, but it'd be fun to actually see it. Because you're right, the way he talks to him. If he's just like, "Yeah, Brock, good suggestion," and he, kind of gives him a side eye a little bit, that would be something to react to as well. And then Jeremy, YouTube channel member, shout out to you and all our YouTube channel members, brings up a good point. They're trying to schedule joint practices with Denver. Well, who went to Denver this offseason, Vish? Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga.
Someone's getting hit in that practice.
Yes, it would be awesome. I want to see it, damn it. There's too many reasons not to do it. The NFL
You think Dre Greenlaw is getting a 15-yard penalty in that practice?
Or was somebody pull Dre aside? Hey, Dre, how'd you really feel about the Niners not doing squat until after you had already agreed to Denver and then trying to swoop in at the 11th hour? Yes.
The Niners should hire Big Dom to troll him.
Oh, God. They all show up with T-shirts of Big Dom.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Come on, Kittle. Let's
Dre Greenlaw, what did you think about loyalty? I was a fan of you until March 1st, my friend. And then I turned on you.
Oh, Mike says, do you think Brandon Aiyuk could wear the right color shorts to practice on Hard Knocks? Who knows? What if he does do something like that after they crapped on him all year? That's what I mean. I think there would be a lot of potential drama on the show.